Representative Thomas of the 143rd District, the Vice Chairman of the GAE Committee, proudly representing Norwalk, Wilton, and Westport. You have the floor, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy to rise for the first time in this chamber in support of this very important legislation, and thank you to the good chair for his leadership on the issue. I think it's vital for us to focus on what we're voting on today, what this resolution is and what it isn't. It is not a decision at this time to commit to any prescribed period of time for early voting. If the question is placed on the ballot for our fellow citizens to consider if this is something they would like to undertake, only then would it be proper for us to set that course of action. We may choose to adopt early voting at that time, maybe for a period of a month, maybe for a period of a week, maybe for a day, maybe not at all. And I stand ready to work with all of my colleagues to discuss those details, but none of that can happen, none of that debate will happen until we pass this resolution. Some of you may be leery about voting yes. You may want certain safeguards in place before we cast our vote. You may be tempted to wait to delve into all the details about voter identification, election security, vote count efficiency. You may just be uncomfortable with changing a tradition that has long been held. And I, too, want safe and fair elections, and I'm happy to engage in that conversation. But I think we have a parallel plan. We have the opportunity to move on two tracks at once. A recent poll, national, 60% of Americans said they actually were in favor of early voting for a 15-day period. Here in 2020, closer to home in Connecticut, 79% of voters were in support of early voting. 86% of Democrats, 79% of unaffiliated voters, and 69% of Republicans. And the numbers, the percentages remain just as high across cities, suburbs, rural areas. And none of this comes as a surprise to me because during the public hearing, we had testimony from many, many hundreds of people voicing their support for this resolution. And the reasons varied per person. We heard about a changing landscape based on the pandemic, a changing landscape based on severe weather, which we're seeing with increasing frequency that often falls in November. Fear of voter intimidation at the polling place. We heard from parents and seniors alike who talked about waking up the morning of an election with an unexpected activity, a sick child with a fever, arthritic knees, and their inability to make it to the poll. We heard from busy professionals who have long commutes and get stuck on a train delay. We heard from busy college students. We even heard from, with shock, a transplant recently here from Texas who just couldn't believe that they couldn't enjoy in Connecticut a right that they had assumed existed everywhere in the country. And on and on and on, many, many hundreds of letters. So my hope today is that we can see this resolution for what it simply is, a unique and wonderful opportunity to empower our citizens. Let us put the question forward to the voters, and in doing so, empower our electorate to make the decision for themselves. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Thomas. I can remember the first time I spoke 10 years ago on the floor. I was doing a bill with my friend from Watertown, Representative Sean Williams. You were far more eloquent, not surprising, than I was the first time I took a bill out. So thank you for your remarks.